make sure you're making decisions for your business that are based on your longer term strategy. Make sure you avoid making big decisions for your business that are reactive to immediate circumstances. Unless, of course, it's a crisis. You need to sometimes think on your feet and be very agile in business. But I think it's really important to know the difference between being strategic and being reactive. So what's an example? Well, at the moment, we've got a couple of staffing changes going on in my practice, which is pretty normal. This happens in ebbs and flows. I think most businesses will find their staffing ebbs and flows. People come, people go. We've got new people. We've got people moving forward in their careers and in their own businesses too, which is pretty exciting to watch that unfold. What's really important is, as any business owner, I make sure that I stay strategic, I stay focused on the big picture. So what I want you to think about in your business, what is your big picture? And when something happens that is a potential for a big decision to be needed. So thinking about when you've got that decision point about which way do I go, if I go anywhere at all in my business, just take a moment. Take a moment to recognize what's going on in your body. Think about the energy that you're expending, thinking about what you're feeling and thinking about what's going on up here in terms of those whirring little chattering monkeys that we all get as business owners. And just take a moment to stop before you make any big decisions. So if I was acting in a reactive way at the moment with my business, I might respond to staff movements in a flurry of recruiting drives. Now, for me at the moment, that's not strategic. That's not what I want to do in terms of my big picture right now. My big picture right now, and has been for some time, is stability, consolidation, and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess focus on how we function as a team, what our team culture is. Now, that bigger picture isn't going to be served by a flurry of recruitment activity. So for me, it's strategic to hold steady and to stay in my lane, to stay focused on where we're heading as a team. To react reactively might actually run counter to that bigger picture for me. So when you're in your business and something happens that triggers a reaction in you and there's that impulse to quickly fix it, recognize that need, recognize that feeling, that urge, and try and urge surf a little bit. Try and just hold the reins steady for a little while, even if it's just sleeping on it. And think about, what is my bigger picture goal? What is my bigger picture focus right now? Is my bigger picture going to be served by me acting reactively? Because sometimes when we act reactively, we're actually being driven by fear or scarcity. So when you've got that feeling, it's really important that you do take a moment to figure out where that's coming from. Is it fear-based? Am I making decisions in my business based on fear? Or am I feeling calm and making a strategic decision? And you'll recognize the difference. You'll recognize the difference in a calm strategic decision and a fear-driven reactive decision. So focusing on what you are feeling as a business owner is really valid. It's really important that you become skilled at doing that. Recognize the signs of stress, anxiety, worry, fear, all of those yucky feelings, and notice what they're pushing you to do, what they're urging you to do, and whether or not you are capable of taking a deep breath, buying yourself some time, sitting somewhere comfortable with a cup of tea and asking yourself this question: is responding to this urge for action is this in my longer term best interests? Is this in the longer term interests of my business? Or am I being reactive out of fear? And be really honest with yourself, because I think that's super duper hard sometimes, to be really, really honest with ourselves in the face of fear. So don't get me wrong, I have absolutely had moments in my business where I have been fearful and fear-driven and emotion-driven too. So there have been times in the past where I have been growth-focused. And so, of course, the strategic decision in the face of recruitment changes or staffing changes would be to continue to recruit. And that was entirely appropriate. There have been other times where I've been quite emotion driven and made decisions that might not have served me well. Now, keep in mind, my business is 10 years old this year. So I've had pretty much every emotional reaction, every calm decision, every fear-driven decision, opportunity across the course of those 10 years. So I want you to learn for yourself, by focusing on yourself, what your reactions to stress, to difficulty, to challenges in your business, what they trigger in you. Get to recognize those triggers, get to recognize those reactions, get to recognize the urges that you have. Most business owners get the urge to run away and open a bookshop or a florist shop. And I don't know what florists and bookshop owners get the urge to run away and do, but we all have those moments where we get really fear-driven or really overwhelmed. So recognize overwhelming yourself, recognize fear, recognize all of those yucky emotions that we do experience as business owners. And I guess give them a little bit of respect, those feelings. Give them a little bit of oxygen. Find somebody that you can talk to. And it might not be your partner or your family, because maybe they're going to respond to your fears with some fears of their own. So find somebody that you can talk to about those fears as they arise. And that will also help you, especially while you're learning. If you're in the early stages of your business and you're learning how to respond strategically versus reactively, having somebody to talk that stuff through with is gold. You've heard me say many, many times, the number one risk to business owners, the well-being of business owners, is a sense of isolation, a sense of feeling like you have to know all the answers yourself, a sense of feeling like nobody else gets it. So again, if you're triggered by stress and staffing issues and change and all of those things that we all navigate as business owners, make sure you're doing what you can to learn the different reactions in yourself, especially watching out for those ones that drive you to be reactive rather than strategic. So don't forget, we all go through this. We all do this stuff. We all have these fears. We all have these emotional responses to difficulties in our businesses. You're not on your own. You don't have to figure out the answers all by yourself. I spent too many years feeling quite isolated as a business owner. And, thankfully, the last few years I've been exceedingly well supported. And now I support all you guys. So make sure... Alison saying her plan B is to be a florist too. I wanted to be a florist when I was a kid. I should have perhaps listened to that urge. So listen, if you're interested to work with me, my Inner Circle program is open at the moment. 12 months, intensive support, intensive guidance, intensive brainstorming, intensive having your back. And we've got retreats, we've got all sorts of implementation tricks up our sleeves, and there's still a couple of opportunities left before the end of August. If you're one of the first 4 to sign up before the end of August, there is a deep dive where I'll come to your practice for 3 days and help you figure out what's going on. Help you pump up the tires on the great stuff, help you brainstorm some of the not so great stuff, help you fluff your own feathers as a business owner as well, and get you feeling really loud and proud of what you do, because you do a bloody hard job. I know, I absolutely know. So that's it from me. And yeah, Alison and I can absolutely, yes, Alison, we will have a florist shop together one day. if it all turns to custard. Meanwhile, it will not turn to custard. But it's nice to have an escape plan in mind, I'm sure. All right, have a fabulous afternoon. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye for now.